James, is that the hardest way to go out? Up 2 sets to love.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. Try to have some perspective immediately after and think about the fact that it is just one match and it won't be the defining moment of my career. Luckily, I'm proud that I have the rest of my career to look back on as some pretty good matches, some pretty good wins, and hopefully this won't be my my lasting memory is that loss. Up 2 sets to love, 2 tiebreakers in the fourth and fifth, and losing both of those pretty much in my hands at times, and I was the one that I felt like I gave them away. So that's frustrating, but like I said, it's one match. I think I lost 200 and something over my career, so it's not a fun way to do it, but only one guy is holding the trophy at the end of this 2 weeks, so I wished it was me. I did everything I could to prepare as if it could be me, and it's not.
Yep.
Like, just wondering how you're feeling right now. You have a lot of emotion.
Yeah, definitely. It's, like I said, out on the court, I'm never going to have 15,000, 10,000, 20,000 people cheering for me, chanting USA, screaming my name, that kind of stuff. And I'm lucky enough to have had that for 14 years, though, so I got to look at the positives. I try to always do that, and most people never have that, and most people I talk to in the world will never be able to relate to that. That's why I was proud of my book. I felt like I related to people on a much more human level, and now I'm going to go back to being a normal person that doesn't have crowds cheering for him, and is just changing diapers and hoping to get 18 holes in on a given day, and that's okay with me. I'm lucky enough to have done what I've done in my career to give me some security and flexibility with what I want to do with the rest of my life, and know that my kid and hopefully kids will be comfortable, and I'll hopefully be around to take them to soccer practice and softball practice, and if they really want to, tennis practice, and just get to be that normal person and embrace that, because I haven't had that for the last 14 years, and I'm looking forward to a new stage in my life, and I'll miss this one, but I couldn't have asked. I mean, obviously I could have finished this year a little better, this tournament, but I couldn't, to expect to win more matches in my mind would just be greedy.
Ben?
James, obviously the script of tonight wasn't exactly ideal, but still you got to finish in a 5th set tiebreak in a night session at the U.S. Open with the crowd screaming your name. I mean, it was going to end with a loss, obviously, regardless of this tournament, unless you won the whole thing. But
right.
Is it still that sort of not a terrible way to go out in some ways?
There's no good way to go out unless you're holding that trophy. So yeah, I guess if you want to look at the positive that way, you can. I definitely won't sleep a whole lot tonight. I'll be thinking about opportunities I had when it's that close. Obviously a point here and there can change it, and I definitely had opportunities and didn't take advantage. And at times, and other times, he came up with great serves and great shots. So, it's like you said. Chances are it wasn't going to end with me holding the trophy, but I did my best to put myself in position for that.
Yep.
Besides changing diapers and playing golf, do you have concrete plans for the next part of your life, or is that something you still have to figure out?
No. When I started getting serious with my wife, I told her that when I'm done playing tennis, I'm gonna have 6 months where I get the freedom to do kind of what I want, play some golf and relax. We didn't have a kid then, so I didn't know that really wasn't an option. I'm still gonna be busy, but I'm just not gonna have a job. So I want to take a little time and just kind of relax, because as much as our job does seem easy, and it is very fortunate what we do, one thing that's different about our lives as athletes is we're always pro athletes. So when you feel like you have time off, you still have to be training. You still can't be going out, staying out till 3, 4 in the morning like your buddies can once in a while, because they just have to be in it at work and can kind of get through it with a couple cups of coffee. You can't fake your way through a tournament. You can't do anything like that. So you're sort of on a pretty selfish schedule, but on a pretty regimented schedule for a long part, a pretty big portion of your life. So I'm looking forward to not having that. So if I feel like it, staying up late and hanging out with my friends, or taking a weekend trip to Mexico and just being with my wife and kids or whatever. And I've never really had that opportunity. So that's what I'm looking forward to for the next few months.
James, you mentioned the crowd out there on the court at the end of your match. What did go through your mind as you stood there, like well after midnight, and you're looking up at all those people?
There's a ton of emotions and a ton of things that I thought about. So many matches I've been out there and been out on Ash, and a crowd supporting me past midnight, and crowd supporting me during the day, and through rain delays, through everything, and all the people that have kind of driven miles. I know my friends have driven, hours to be here, and people have flown in to be here. And, it means a lot that people come to see me, and it's another time when I think about how lucky I am that I have fans, because everyone goes and plays tennis or plays golf or plays something to be active in their own tennis club in their own backyard, and they don't get to have that kind of adulation when they do something well. And I'm lucky enough to be good enough to have earned my spot in this tournament for 14 years, and earned my spot in a lot of other tournaments, and had that kind of a crowd. And this one's definitely been the best throughout my whole career, having the US Open crowd. And I know how kind of daunting it can be playing me here at the US Open with my crowd, with my fans, because I don't think there's too many people that had as much support, and I'm so thankful to my friends for being very vocal, and I think I should probably thank Heineken for making them so vocal at times. But I know they had a lot of fun, and they mean a lot to me. The fact that they put off their lives for 2 weeks pretty much every year to come and support me.
Hey James, we were talking to Betty after the match, and she was saying that you had spoken today how pleased you were that the match actually came on the anniversary of the March, and that you tied it into Arthur. Could you take a moment and just share your thoughts on that and what it meant to you?
Yeah, I thought about that a lot this morning, and thought it'd be a great day to get a win, because of how important this day is in our history. I guess it's now yesterday, but it was. So I think maybe we should take it at midnight. I hope I was winning, and then I lost afterwards on the next day. But yeah, I mean, to have something that was a demonstration 50 years ago, it still resonates today, and still is sort of a beacon for what Martin Luther King did, and how much he progressed the civil rights movement. And I'm proud that I'm in a situation now where I don't have to face the same things he had to face. I don't have to face the same things my dad had to face, but I also don't feel like we're at the finish line, which I'm proud to be a part of, hopefully helping that get towards the finish line. And I think it's a good reason to celebrate the 50th anniversary, to let people know that the civil rights movement isn't over, and there are also new things that need new topics that need to be dealt with. I mean, I did join Athlete Ally because I feel like rights need to be given to those that have a different lifestyle than what some people may consider normal. And I think we need to embrace the fact that there are people that want to live their life the way they want to live their life, and should be given that right. And I'm happy that DOMA was finally overturned, and I'm happy that things like that are getting better, but we're definitely not at the finish line. And I think Athlete Ally is a great cause, and especially in the world of sports, where you're too often seeing a lot of macho sort of showboating, when everyone should feel comfortable. Sports is a great equalizer. It's something that some of the proudest times I've been on the court are at Davis Cup and Olympics. They're supposed to embrace sportsmanship, and it's a level playing field. You go out, you're good enough, you win, and it has nothing to do with what you do with the rest of your time. And so I'm proud to do this, proud to be playing on such a historic day, and I think it's a great reminder that we're still working.
And speaking of Olympics, what are your thoughts about the situation in Russia and the homophobic laws that they have there?
Yeah, I think it's sad, because like I said, we're still in this fight, and I I don't know if a boycott would change that. I don't know all the politics that go into a boycott, but I know that policy is unacceptable. I wouldn't want to be over there. I wouldn't want to have anyone associated with me. I mean, I think everyone at this point, when you look at the numbers, someone in your circle, whether it's a family member, a friend, is gay or bisexual or transgender, where you should appreciate the fact that those people are valued members of society. They're people that are doing something good in the world, and they should feel comfortable to live out their lives. And I think any sort of policy that discriminates against them or that excludes them is completely unfair in today's day and age. I mean, that's why I say we're 50 years out and there's still things that are going on that are discriminatory.
Yep.
James, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been one of the faces of American tennis throughout your career, but you've been the face for African Americans on the male side. Talk about how it's been to carry that torch, so to speak, and how it is to now leave that behind.
Yeah, I mean, I think Donald Young getting a good win in the first round here is a good sign. He's got a lot of talent, and I hope he can realize all of it. But I understood that when I started on tour and when I first sort of burst onto the scene. I remember being in this room and there was the talk with Leighton Hewitt when I had that incident with him back in '01, and that's when I realized that I might have a different path than a lot of other guys. And the other thing that made me extremely proud was when I stopped getting questions about being the only African American as opposed to just being a tennis player. And that made me feel like I was really accomplishing something because people were talking about my tennis instead of just my skin color. And I'm proud to do that, but I also know that there are people that look up to me that may not have ever been involved in tennis, may not have ever thought about tennis, because they see someone that looks like them on TV. And they hear that I started playing tennis in Harlem, and they hear that I still go back there and volunteer. So maybe there is a possibility for a kid to that feels like their only option is basketball, to say, hey, I want to pick up a tennis racket too. So if I can still do that, like I said, I'm not going to have a job for a little while, but I also want to help out when I can and things like that, where I can help grassroots programs to get more players, because I think in America we need to just grow the talent pool. We have a large pool of athletes, but a lot of them are breaking off into other sports and they're not focused on tennis. And I want to get more tennis players, because then we create hopefully more tennis champions, but also we create more tennis fans. I think it's so great when you see a kid learn to play tennis and they realize how difficult it is what we do out there on the court, and then they come to appreciate it, and they become tennis players for life. So I want to help out in any way I can to do that.
Yep.
And James, the other day you talked about how you used to sneak into the U.S. Open as a little kid. You say you're going to be up a while tonight. When you leave the grounds one last time, are you going to look back at that kid one more time?
Yeah, I mean, I still double, so I'm not saying my tearful goodbye to Billie Jean King Center quite yet, but yeah, when I do leave, I'll think about the fact that it's been a long road. You know, I'm at the same venue, but I'm not the same person, and I've had a lot of miles, a pretty good and long journey since I was a kid sneaking in here to a full-grown man leaving here, and I've had a lot of people that have helped me become that man, and hopefully someone my mom's proud of, and my friends and family are proud to call a friend or a brother or a husband, and that's hopefully what I'm most proud of when I do leave here for the last time, as opposed to just the wins that I had here.
Would you ever want to coach tennis, and can you speak to some of the people who coached you and what they did for you?
Yeah, I would love to coach if I didn't have to travel as much as the coaches do travel on tour. I don't want to be on the road for 30 weeks out of the year. I also don't think I'm a very good coach when it comes to like beginners and intermediate players. I think the only people I would be successful in coaching is players at a pretty high level, a college player or tour level player. I've learned that in trying to teach my wife how to play, and I've turned her over to actual coaches. But I I do like that, and I've learned from some of the best coaches, in my opinion. And really, in my opinion, the best coach I could have possibly had with Brian Barker. I definitely would not have had a career without him. I wouldn't have been. I don't think I would have been the man I am. I don't think I would have the sportsmanship I have if I didn't have him in my corner for so long. I was so happy he was able to come today and be a part of my box again. But he was a mentor. He was basically another big brother of mine, and doesn't get nearly the credit he deserves for also knowing the X's and O's and helping me become the player I became, and having the fortitude to stand up to people who are saying I needed to change things, I needed to do this, because he was so adamant that we did what we knew we needed to do on the practice court, and then we had a singular focus on the match court, and we were doing it the right way, and that makes you so much more confident. And I was proud to have him behind me for so many years. So if I could ever be a coach like him, I would definitely do it, because I would feel like I have to. I would owe it to the sport, because he's one of the best. And if my kid or kids ever decide to play tennis, there's no coach I'd want for them other than him.
Yep.
James, congratulations. You've mentioned family and kids a lot. What has your most memorable moment been with Riley on the tour, and what do you look forward most to doing with her, maybe even here in New York?
Yeah, it's every day. Every day is something new, and it's so much fun. I think it was just recently the first time she walked. It was the day before I left for Atlanta, and I couldn't have been happier that I was still home right before I left the day, and watching her walk across the basement floor. And then once she realized she could walk, just nonstop. I don't think she stopped walking since then. It's been a month and a half, and I don't think she stopped walking or running. And then just she starts to mimic you. So when you say night night, and she says night night back, or she said bye bye mommy, and I think my wife and I just about went to tears when my wife was walking out, and she said bye bye mommy, and just everything she's learning like that. I mean, every day is so much fun, and I'm looking forward to being around and not even thinking about missing another milestone. So I'm lucky to have that luxury, and can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. And like I said, I probably won't sleep much tonight, so I'll still be up when she wakes up at 7.
So James,
Us too.
it said maybe this side of Kafelnikov, you're the best poker player in the tennis universe. So step back and put your career sort of, I don't know, in poker terms, in terms of the cards you got and how you played them and the patience which you need in poker, and how about bluffing? You ever have to bluff a little bit?
Oh, I bluffed a ton. I finally started admitting that to a couple of practice partners that I was hitting with a few weeks ago, and we were doing 2-on-1s, and so I'm running, and then they're running, and they're dying, and my trainer let it slip. He's like, you know, James is tired too, right? He's just a better actor. You know, there are so many times I was late in matches, and my legs were burning, my lungs were dead, and I stood up there and I looked, and I stood as straight as I could, and I looked across the net and saw my opponent hurting, and got so much more strength from that, and I bluffed a ton of times, and now I can admit there are so many times I was tired out there, and so many times I was beaten down and could have stopped and could have kind of thrown in the towel, and didn't, just on wanting to be out there and wanting to win. And people, you know, early in my career, I had problems with cramping, and people were so shocked when it happened, because it looked like I'm running, it looked like I'm fine, and then I cramped. But I don't think people realized that I've been tired for the last half an hour, 45 minutes, and I just wasn't showing it. So there are a ton of times I was bluffing. In terms of cards I got, you know, I can't complain. I got up to 4 in the world. I did everything I could, and you know, I said the other day that people, I think, I appreciate it. They gave me so much more credit for being a great athlete than I think I deserve, because it was really the hard work that made me look athletic and made me look like I was, you know, that graceful or that fast, and that was from hours and hours on the track, on the field, doing things like that. But I mean, I got to 4 in the world, so I had to have some pretty decent cards, and I definitely did the best I could with them. I played them the way I could. I made mistakes. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you're a poker player, you're going to lose pots, but you try to minimize the losses, and that's sometimes as good as winning a pot when you minimize your loss. And I did that with some of my mistakes. I made them for, say, a month or one tournament, and then I fixed the problem. And that was what Brian was so good at. When we tried something new and it didn't work, we could look back and say, okay, we did it. We gave it a real shot. We tried everything we could, and then we moved on. And we're back to singular focus, what we need to do. But I don't know, I do maybe take offense to on this side of Yevgeny. I mean, I've never played with him. We'll see. We might have to get a game together.
So James, you got to take in a few more Met games now that you're
Yeah, I
retired?
think so. Taking some Met games, taking some Yankee games, taking some Giants games this season, and taking plenty of games sitting on my couch watching them on DirecTV too, because that's pretty comfortable these days. But yeah, I'll do a lot of things. I mean, this is gonna, like I said, I'm so lucky. I mean, it's crazy to think. I don't know what I'm gonna say honestly in 2 weeks. Am I unemployed? Am I retired at 33? Am I just in between jobs? It's gonna be interesting, but I'm looking forward to just relaxing and seeing what comes, and I'll definitely have time to do those things, because before, my schedule would never allow a lot of those things to happen, and now on a whim we can say, let's go to the Mets game tonight, let's go to a Broadway show tonight, and call my mom, babysit, and we're off. We'll see, but I'm sure I'll take in plenty of the culture here.
Thank you very much.